La 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 la. La 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 la. Podcast magic. Me and you. Podcast magic. Do 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 do. That's all I have. And it wasn't even good.
I came home and you were singing that, and I was like, oh, she's going to open the podcast episode on that song. 100%.
I wonder why that's in my head.
Yeah, why is that in your head? Were you listening to Spice Girls today?
No. So I can't tell you.
You know who's really in love?
Who?
David and Victoria Beckham.
It does seem that way.
They are really in love.
They are really in love.
I swear to God, if I hear that David and Victoria Beckham got divorced this summer, I am fully going to cut my own penis off.
It'll be pretty tragic. One time I heard her in an interview be like, I sleep naked because I sleep next to David Beckham. And I was like, yeah, that's a good reason, baby girl. Anyway, good night.
It's the Bedtime Podcast.
I love that we can change the theme song anytime we like because we sing it.
Yeah, someone told me that they really love that we sing our opening theme.
Really? What a fucking suck up. No, I'm joking. That's really nice.
No, it's great. I mean, I remember we were going to pay someone to do a theme. And then I was like, I wrote one. Like I spent some time, I recorded one.
Yeah.
And I played it for you. And you were like, well, what if it's just this? It's the Bedtime Podcast. And I was like, perfect. Yeah, that's perfect.
Ladies, keep it simple. You know what I'm saying?
I find in my life, whenever the simplest solution is always the right solution.
Oh, yeah.
So often than not, like when I'm writing, like anything, like just any problem I have, it's like, what is the easiest solution to this problem? It's it.
I 100% agree. We all got to keep it most simple. Most simple.
Because we're all humans.
We're all humans.
We don't like complicated.
We don't like complicated. We like easy. I like easy. I gotta stop doing accents.
Yeah,
Jesus, I don't know. I'm having like a stroke. My strokes make me foreign. I don't know what to tell you all.
What nationality was that?
I think it got a little Italian, but then I feel like I was venturing into offensive, so I had to stop myself.
Yeah. As a comedian, I've learned that as a comedian that's also white, can only do like accents of other nationalities that are also white.
I taught that to you. The student becomes the teacher. I'm done with the accents. I'm done. And I think that one was offensive. So sound off in the comments.
You taught it to me, but I feel like I knew that. Like I wasn't doing, he
wasn't doing them, but he was asking me why he couldn't.
I wasn't going up there in an Indian accent, just going for it.
No, I know. Look, just let me have this.
Remember my dad?
True.
Remember my dad was like, I don't understand why you can't go up there and do like a Hindu accent.
Yeah, I think that's when the teaching moment was. So you just got to be there for it. So yeah. I'm including you in the student relationship that I have with your father.
Yeah. It sucks. I do feel like if I could go up there and do an Indian accent, I would be so much farther along in my career.
Yeah, our lives are really hard because we can't do the accents of people who aren't white. It like is ruining my life. It's ruining my life.
Because those are my best accents.
Oh yeah, that's my best work is when I'm pretending to be Mexican. That's when my comedy takes off. Rather than being just talking about experiences that are true to me and true to my life. It's really funny when I like pretend to talk about something I have no idea about.
It is funny in comedy. You'll hear people talk about like, oh man, if I was around in the 90s, I would have a mansion right now. That's how successful I'd be.
And it's like, yeah, but you'd be like a horrific person.
Yeah, you'd be part of the stifling of an entire race in an industry.
And a generation. But anyway, go off. I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah.
Go off, sister.
Go off, sister. You have fun in the 90s. I would not have had a good time.
Yes, you would have. Your style is still 90s style.
Yeah, my clothes, not my personality.
No.
They used to kill women like me in the 90s.
Yeah.
Or maybe.
They used to kill women like you in the 90s?
I was like making a joke. But I don't think they would have liked me very much.
Is there any part of you that wishes you were alive and living in Salem during the Salem witch trials?
One time I had a past life reader tell me I was alive during the Salem witch trials. I was a 6-year-old girl named Charity, and I kept a diary, and I knew exactly what was going on, and I knew it was bad.
And how much money did you spend on this?
Actually, not that much. It was sliding scale. I think it was $80 for an hour.
$80 for someone to tell you what your past life was.
That was just one of them.
She told you multiple past lives.
Yeah, she told me that one. I'm forgetting the others. Maybe I was a monk or something. That was the most interesting one.
And were you a witch, a 6-year-old witch?
No, I was just a little girl named Charity in the Salem witch trials, and I had a journal. That's the most important part. And then I was like a healer in another past life, and she said I'm a little psychic. What else did she say? She said Mary Tyler Moore is one of my spirit guides. Very exciting. And then so is Henry Winkler.
What does that mean? But he's alive.
I know, that's where I got confused.
That's where the $80 started to feel not enough.
She told me that we would get married.
Who, me and you?
Yeah.
Were we dating at the time?
Yeah, I was living in Highland Park. This is like a long time ago.
This is when we just started dating.
Yeah.
What did she say?
She was like, I'm not supposed to tell you this, but he'd be a good guy to marry. He'd be a good guy to marry. And I was like, oh my God. And then she also told me I was going to have to give up my fun shoes because I'd have knee and ankle problems.
And what's this lady's job
She's
title?
a past life reader. She's very popular. It's hard to get an appointment.
But what does your foot health have to do with your past lives?
Well, she's like a psychic, so she can see the past, but apparently a little bit of the future.
To me, she's kind of painting too broad of a brush.
I think that's very specific to tell me I'll have to give up my fun shoes because I do find shoes to be very fun.
Only in LA could someone have a profession like that.
She doesn't live in LA.
Where does she live?
Like Washington.
This
it's
was
a Zoom. Well, it was a Skype. This was pre-pandemic.
Washington. Only a coastal city could have you could be this type of job.
It was Washington, Indiana.
Oh, really?
No, I'm joking. Yeah, that was pretty fun. That was pretty fun. So I was at Salem witch trials. Would I give anything to go back? Absolutely.
Yeah, but you'd be scared and terrified.
Yeah, I'd probably be dead.
Ugh. I would hate to be hung.
This just in. Noah Findling would hate to be hung. Sir, this is an incredible breaking story. What have you got to say for yourself?
Me at the Salem witch trials, I'm like, is there any other way you could kill me?
I think they drowned women too.
Yeah, being drowned would be way better.
I think I'd like the guillotine. Pretty swift.
Guillotine would be good.
Yeah, I should see if I was guillotined in a past life. I'm very drawn to it.
Drawn to what?
The guillotine as a weapon. I love seeing pictures of them.
Because it's French.
Probably. C'est possible. That's probably why. Okay, I'm done with the accents. Even though that one
I think it's
is
fun.
allowed.
I think they like it. Yeah, we could do French. I'm waiting for the day that Italian is not allowed anymore by white people.
That'll be a fun day for no one because I love doing Italian accents.
Italian accent is my favorite thing.
It's so fun. When you're cooking, what could be better?
But it's like, there's so many different Italian accents. There's Italian, from Italy.
Yeah, that's the least fun one.
And then there's like the New York Italian, New Jersey Italian, Bronx Italian, which all kind of feel a little Jewish too.
Yeah.
Like East Coast Jew.
So I do think we'll always be able to do Italian. Maybe you can do whatever accent as long as you're punching up. So because Jew is below Italian, we'll be able to do Italian.
Can I say something about the word Jew?
Of course.
I get scared using that word casually in front of non-Jews.
Yeah.
Because like a Jew can call another Jew a Jew. Jews can call each other Jews. But it's so harsh to hear a non-Jewish person say the word Jew.
Oh, yeah. If you a non-Jew calling another Jew a Jew, it ain't good.
Like, it's not, even if it's not malicious, like, even if you're saying something nice or like just whatever, it just never comes out right. It also, you never hear someone say something nice while using the word Jew.
I know. It's kind of gross.
It's never like, that Jew's beautiful. It's always like, that Jew owes me money.
Yeah.
Or that Jew has a big nose.
But I would love it if someone was like, well, that is one beautiful Jew about me. I'm waiting, Prince Charming. Just kidding, I have one. And he's a Jew.
You're okay with anti-Semitism if they're complimenting your looks.
That Jew's got some great tits. Yeah, I'm okay with it. Oh, that is one hot Jew. Yeah.
Speaking of people using the word Jew too much, I was in the Midwest this weekend.
Hot transition. That was a good one.
That was a good one,
That
right?
was a really good one.
I headlined some shows.
Brag.
4 shows in Columbus, Ohio.
4? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hot. So hot.
I did 40 minutes on each show.
Oh my God. 160 minutes of comedy? Wow. Oh my God, I'm sweating.
And I made half our rent.
Now that's one hot Jew. I love that.
No, that is pretty cool. And I sold a bunch of merch.
And our rent's expensive since we moved to the new place.
But, you know, I was immersed into this comedy scene in Columbus, really in Ohio, because it's there's 3 scenes in Ohio. There's
3 scenes in Ohio.
There's 3 scenes in Ohio.
You see how it would ruin our lives if we couldn't do that?
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
There's the Cleveland scene, there's a Columbus scene, there's a Cincinnati scene, and those cities aren't too far between each other, so people hop in and out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I fell in love with the city of Columbus, and I was romanticizing what it is like to do comedy in a smaller scene like that. I really, really loved it so much. I loved how everybody kind of knew each other. I loved how it was small enough yet offered so much stage time to the comedians. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of comics.
Yeah.
But there's a decent amount of stage time.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody can get really good really fast. Now that's the discrepancy. I don't know how good they can get. I think you also have to be challenged by the best. And I think, that has to do with there may not be as many talented comedians in a scene like that. But if you're smart and you're thinking thoughtfully about your material, you're getting the stage time to get better. But what I really wanted to talk about is this whole, just how beautiful it is to be in a small scene like that.
Yeah.
And it made me think, what if instead of comedians starting in a small scene and feeling like they have to go to these big cities like LA, New York, and Chicago, that's the only way they think they'll make it, because that for years has been the trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
You start in a small scene, you get good, you feel good enough to go to a bigger scene. You feel good enough to go to a bigger scene, because in a bigger scene, there's more, I guess, potentially more opportunity, more ways to make a living. But what if, Syd? What if we all stayed home?
Do, 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 do. What if, he asked himself.
What an amazing thing we could all be a part of. What if every great comedian stayed in the city they started in and helped build that scene?
Yeah, I'm not from anywhere I'd like to go back to. San Diego is a white supremacist wasteland, in my humble opinion. But if I was from Maine, sure, or somewhere cute and fall-y, yeah, that'd be sick as fuck.
But even I was thinking about it from a financial standpoint. It would be so much smarter if everyone stayed in the scene they started in.
Well, yeah, not for me. San Diego, very expensive.
No, but even for the bigger scenes, it would be smarter. It would make LA less expensive. I'm talking about not just for comedy, but if people stayed where they grew up, or near where they grew up, whatever their biggest city near where they lived, if that's where they ventured to and stayed and they became filmmakers in that city.
Yeah, well, not to brag, but this is the biggest city near where I grew up. So I'm technically doing it.
No, I think for some people, LA is that city, but there's a lot of us, myself included, that
Well, you would have just gone to New York.
I would have gone to New York.
So we're outliers. Don't involve us in this scenario.
But like, think about it. It's like Columbus, very affordable.
Yeah.
Very affordable. If you're a filmmaker, an actor, or whatever, if enough of the whole gambit of entertainment workers, actors, writers, filmmakers, producers, if enough of those people stayed in Columbus, you'd have a great scene there. And you'd have people who could focus on their craft because it's so affordable. They wouldn't have to work like dogs to pay the bills like you do in a bigger scene like out in LA. And by those people staying in that scene, LA would become less expensive because there'd be less sought out.
Yeah. I mean, you're speaking my language. I would love to live in a smaller city that's more affordable with like 2 coffee shops. I mean, when we went to Cleveland a couple years ago, I was like, this is where I belong. It was so cute. And like his friends lived in this magical little neighborhood and it was so fucking cute. And I was like, this is what I want. This smaller life. LA is very overwhelming and I do think it's very beautiful and I do really love it here. If you read my newsletter, I talk about it. And I love the food and the culture, and I think it's an incredible city. But I definitely, obviously, San Diego is also huge, but San Diego is very neighborhood. You kind of just like stay in your neighborhood, which is sometimes similar to LA. But
No, in LA, you're all over the place.
Really?
I find.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know why I said really.
I mean,
That's true.
today I was in Hollywood and now I'm back in Studio City, you know.
True. Today I was in Los Feliz and then, yeah, you're right. But
What?
in San Diego, you really stay in your neighborhood, and it is very much like you go to the grocery store, you see everybody, you know everybody everywhere. And I did get that small town vibe. It's just I didn't like the technical small town where I was from, but so I do miss that.
Yeah, I loved the ease of life in Columbus.
Yeah.
You walk right out to the main drag, you get a coffee, there's a bunch of restaurants, everything's 10 minutes away. You know, anywhere you want to go is like 10 to 15 minutes away. Things are affordable. You get a bagel and lox for $9.
That's insane.
You go to fucking Courage Bagels in Silver Lake, you got to spend $19.
I mean, that place sucks, but yeah.
It's just like it was just so beautiful, and I really found myself like, oh, I feel like I would have an easier time in a way being a professional comedian there than I do here.
Well, I've been trying to get him to move to Paris, which is somewhat a small town.
Yeah, but I have to overcome a language barrier there.
C'est vrai?
It's not a small town. It's Paris. What are you talking about?
I'm just still trying to get him to move there with me.
But it's like in Colombia, like also, I mean, I don't know if this would be the case if you lived longer in a city like that, but the audiences there are so good. Like there's something about a Midwest person, and they're the best comedy fans.
Well, they're bored out of their minds because they live in Columbus. Like this is what we have. This is when we get our reality check. Like we're very spoiled here. Like everyone here is like a fucking film freak. My part-time job is at a rock gym. And I work with this guy who's like a genius about movies. And he doesn't even want to work in movies. He wants to be a professional like rock climbing guy. But he like knows everything about movies. And like that's why he like lives here, because he loves movies.
Yeah, everyone here is like the starting player on their varsity high school team.
Of like, you know,
intellectuality,
charisma, intellect, all that shit. Like they're just the conversations you have here are so riveting. And like the people I know really enrich my life and are always trying to get smarter. And
so you think all Midwest people?
No, obviously not. But I do think, and I swear to God, I don't think that, because I know the people who listen to this are not just in coastal elite cities. But I'm just saying, like, people move to LA for a reason. And a lot of the times that reason is art, culture.
I think what you have here, though, is more people in Los Angeles want to be on stage than watch what's on stage.
That's true. Yeah.
Like that is so even when you're at a show in Los Angeles, there's a lot of people who are in their seats thinking they could do that.
Yeah.
Or they wish they were up there.
Yeah.
And that immediately makes a really bad audience. Whereas in the Midwest, a lot of these people, working class people, have good jobs, and now they're ready to take a seat and laugh. Like I had one interaction with an audience member with this woman, and she was like, I don't want to talk to you. Like I was talking to her. She was like, I don't want to talk to you. I just want to sit and listen to you.
Yeah, but see what I mean? Like they're not around other people who like also like think they know everything. You know, they're there to enjoy. Whereas the people here are not here to enjoy. They're here to like talk, create, like all that shit. And that makes a shit audience member.
It makes a shit audience member. It makes a really hard scene to grow because everyone in this scene, every part of the scene, comedy, filmmaking, everyone's taking. Nobody's giving.
Yeah.
It's all take.
Paris is a lot of give.
Can we move past Paris?
Yes, because now we're romanticizing the Midwest right now.
We're just stunting how interesting we can be because we just keep going back to Paris.
No, you're right.
We get it. We love Paris.
Yeah.
But now I'm talking about Columbus, Ohio.
I know. Noah's obsessed. I too romanticize a small town. I do genuinely wonder like what the fuck I'll talk about because I do like this guy. His head is the size of a bowling ball, but I genuinely love talking to him. And like he can be a bit of a mansplainer and I don't care. He's fun. And I like hearing his opinion. And like there's a lot of people here like that. I love weirdos. I think that's the thing. We got a lot of weirdos here. And I think I would be deprived of them, even though there's weirdos everywhere. And there's definitely some fucking freaks in a small town. You know who you are. But sometimes that weirdo vibe is more like, will this person kill me?
So you think you'd be bored in a Midwestern city?
Maybe. I don't know. I guess I had a lot of fun in college, but I was in like a film program. So yeah, I was with other freaks. I guess I like being with my fellow freaks, my like weird movie people, because really all I like to do is watch movies. And like, you could do that in a small town, but who would I talk about them with?
I'm sure there's people there who you could talk about it with.
I know. I'd work at a video store.
I just have a really hard time believing that the only interesting people are in LA, New York, Chicago.
Well, I definitely don't believe that.
So then you don't believe what you're saying.
I guess I don't. No, I think I'm like going off too quickly because I have met so many people on the internet that are from like these places that we're talking about that are very interesting and cool and that I like talking to. I just think there's a bigger concentration of them in LA. For
sure. Again, everyone moves here.
Yeah.
Because they want to chase their dreams. Like that is, for the most part, that's 80% of Los Angeles. And that's why Los Angeles is very bleak right now.
It's really depressing right now.
Because all of those people can't work.
We're all really depressed.
So
I do feel like we've hit a point in the strike where everyone is just like so fucking depressed.
Yeah. But you know, thinking about and romanticizing about this scene and what it would be like to just like go to a scene like that and be a big fish in a smaller pond, it made me think like, well, why, you know, I've lived in LA for 9 years. You lived in LA for 10 years.
Yeah.
Why do we live here?
Why do you live here? If I wasn't here, like if I would go wherever you wanted to go, would you still want to live here?
The answer is yes and no.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a part of me that feels that I live here because I'm here.
Yeah.
Like I've just been here. I'm used to it. Do I really want to like up and root myself and start over in a new place? No, but there's so many cons to living here.
Yeah.
So many cons that if I said them out loud, they feel like deal breakers.
Like what?
Like truly how expensive this city is becoming.
It's outrageous. Yeah. It's really depressing.
Like we went out Saturday night after the shows, like a bunch of the comics. I bought a round of drinks, $20.
Oh my God. I don't drink, but still.
Like it was like five beers.
Even I'm horny for that.
Like it was just so, you know, it was really.
That's one drink in LA.
Yeah.
That's fucking
maybe
crazy.
two.
At a dive bar.
And I just was like, why do I live in LA? And look, it is beautiful here. I do love that. And I do like the life I've built. I think that's really why I still am here. Because the life I've built here is quite enjoyable. Despite those cons.
Yeah.
But it does feel like there's a ticking clock on it.
I know. I feel it too. I don't think we're going to be here forever.
It feels like we're in that third or fourth season of Friends, where it's like that show is a specific time in people's lives where you're friends or your family.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we're very much in that time of our life.
Yeah.
And at some point, we're going to have to move out and grow up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel that? Do you feel that at all? Like we're going to have to grow up at some point. I don't know what that means. I'm not saying that means kids or buying a house, but maybe just move to a place that makes more logistical sense.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's just no way to know what's going to happen other than like that I'm going to have to give up my fun shoes. But I do think there's a quality of life that I would like that is very hard to get in Los Angeles right now. And yeah, I don't know. I definitely would like seasons, but I don't want to live in New York City. Like that's so crazy to me. More expensive.
Yeah.
More chaotic.
Like my heart would love to live in New York City because I'd love to be close to my family, but then it's like it's exactly what you're saying.
It's like a lateral move.
It's a lateral move. It's just nice to be closer to family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd pick like parts of New Jersey over New York City or parts of like, you know, Brooklyn and that kind of stuff. But like, it still feels like I just wish I could set myself free and move to Columbus. I really do. I wish I could just like, I'm jealous of people who can just, you know, they work remotely or they're, you know, going to go look for a new job in a new industry. And they're just like, I'm going to pick a place on a map and I'm going to go there. Like, I'm jealous.
I'm jealous of that too.
Where they don't have to be in a certain place to do what they want to do.
Yeah.
They can really pick a place based on the quality of life they're going to get.
Yeah. I mean, I would want to live in a little ski town.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be fucking sick. Like Vermont or Maine. I'm romanticizing those right now. I know earlier it was Salt Lake City, but then I found out about the lakes drying up, so that's out.
When one of the nights we went out,
mm-hmm.
we were with a group of people, and when everyone found out I was from LA, they were like, "Whoa, that's so cool!"
Mm-hmm.
Like that's so cool. Like, and I'm like, "Oh, this is a cool city too." And they're like, "No, it's not. It's so boring."
Yeah.
And it just you always the grass is always greener on the other side.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm in Columbus at this bar thinking like this is the best. Like you could walk home, you could walk there. Like everybody kind of knows each other. It feels like family. And yet these people are like, yeah, but it's boring. There's nothing to do here.
Yeah, but I think I'm boring.
Yeah. You think you're boring.
I am boring.
So you think you would do well in a boring city. Now you're you're ping-ponging to the other side.
Well, I think that's what makes me so wonderful is I can ping pong to both sides. Yeah, I think I'm incredibly boring. Like when you're out of town, I just cook and watch movies, and I really do have the time of my life. Like I love doing that. And I did a show, and that was amazing and really fun. And then I went back home and I watched a movie, and I watched a movie before my show. I've been cooking a ton of beans, and I'm just like very happy doing these simple things. And yeah, I don't know what else life has in store for me, but I'm pretty happy.
I think I'm boring too.
What makes you think you're boring?
Because on a normal weekend for me, it's like I do shows, and for the most part, I just kind of like chill. Maybe I'll meet a friend or hang out with friends after the show, but there's not like a lot of variety in the things that I'm doing. And whenever I recap my weekend to someone who's not a comedian, especially, they always are like, "Oh, really? That's all you did?" Like that's how it feels. Like they're unimpressed. And I'm like, "You're my boring friend. Why are you why am I the boring one now?
Yeah. Because I don't want to go to like art openings and like museums and like cool raves or parties. Like that doesn't interest me.
Boring people do things. Interesting people do boring stuff. Does that make sense?
You know,
am I onto something?
I think you're onto something.
Like boring people go to museums, go to concerts, go to comedy shows. Interesting people stay home and are too tired.
I am too tired. Yeah.
Is that, I mean, I hope we're not polarizing the audience.
I think the audience knows we're idiots by now.
I think the audience, you guys need to understand the word boring here is not really.
It's not a diss.
It's not a diss. It's a beautiful thing to be boring.
Because I maintain that I'm boring.
I'm boring.
But you just said we're interesting because we don't like doing anything.
I think we're interesting because of how we make our money. I think most people would say that's an interesting way to make money.
Yeah.
That's an interesting way to make a living.
Yeah.
But that is the most interesting aspect of our life.
That's the only interesting thing about us. That's true because we have a neighbor who I think is like so cute.
Who?
This girl, Sophie. And she's a therapist and I was like, when she told me, I was like, what? Boring. I didn't say that. But everything else about her, I'm like, ugh, so cool. So, yeah, you're right. But yeah, I think our jobs are the most interesting thing about us. And everything else, it's like, she's obsessed with beans. She's fucking boring. Oh, she watched Nightmare on Elm Street today on her day off and made a pot of beans. She's a loser.
Yeah. But I also think we are pretty health obsessed.
We are health obsessed. And
it's hard to be fun and interesting and also be healthy.
That? Very true. Put on my gravestone.
Think about the most like exciting people you know. They're like rock stars and they're like, you know, very famous people who are up all the time and they party and they're at clubs and they're treating their body like shit.
They ride motorcycles.
They're doing exciting things. An exciting life is an unhealthy one.
An exciting life is a dead life.
You want to live an exciting life? You're going to find yourself in a ditch 6 feet under the ground in 6 months.
Okay, I don't know about 6 months, but
that is
true.
My doctor told me that. He said, do you find that you have a boring life?
He did?
Yeah.
And what'd you say?
I said, yeah. And he said, well, that checks out because I think you're very healthy.
Yeah.
He said, most of my patients who are unhealthy stay out late, drink a lot, party a lot. They don't take care of themselves.
Yeah.
They're chasing the fun.
Ooh. Yeah.
But I'm not sitting here saying like, man, my life sucks. I'm so boring.
No, I know. I'm saying I really enjoy the boringness of my life. The one thing I could exercise a little more, but I go in waves, so it'll come back.
I think if you're out there listening and you're boring, be proud of that.
Be proud of yourself.
We love boring people.
We could move to the Midwest or New England or whatever.
I think we could.
Should we do it?
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's scary.
Because there is this certain type of boring person that might listen to this podcast, who knows, that I cannot spend time with.
That's true. You know who you are. JK, you don't. You have no idea.
I think this is what it is. The type of person you hang out with where you are giving everything to the hang.
Yeah, that's tricky.
You know, you're the one, you're hitting hit after hit after hit, and nothing is being hit back. That's the type of boring we need to stay clear from. These are energy suckers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you have as many of those types of people here in LA as you do in the Midwest.
And a lot in New York. There's a girl in New York I will not hang out with. And you know who you are. You don't know who you are, but no one knows who you are, and that's why he's laughing. And she would think she's fascinating.
I don't know who you are.
She thinks she's cool. She thinks New York's so cool. Her taste is so good. And I'm being a bitch. But I'm just saying, like, they're everywhere.
They're everywhere. So
you can't escape them.
You can't escape them. So I don't think that should be in the pro or cons column about our decision to move to the Midwest or move somewhere.
I think our conversation has made absolutely no sense this whole time, which I think is very funny. I think we've ping-ponged around a lot of things, and I can't wait for the comments. I can't wait for the DMs being like, yeah, your episode was nuts this week.
I feel like I've stayed consistent in my point of view.
Yeah, I've been pretty insane.
That is, sometimes on this podcast, you'll start rambling something, and I'm just like, what the hell is she talking about?
I'm a rambler, and I don't really know what I'm saying a lot of the time. It's one of my worst qualities.
It's almost like someone, like you're performing on stage, and if we had a producer, she's like telling you to stretch for time.
Well, I was going to say, I feel like the only time I'm smart is when I'm on stage doing improv or like practicing. It's the only time I'm thinking like, what's going on? I'm listening to everything that's happening. I'm trying to justify things. I'm like, that is really when I'm at my peak.
Not right now.
Not right now. Not right now.
You're giving nothing to this podcast.
That's what's so sick. I'm giving absolutely everything. And that's what's tragic.
What goes through your brain when you start to ramble? Are you like, I need to add something to this. I have to say something.
No, this is what's going through my brain. La 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 la.
Hey, I ramble too, but I think I'm usually on topic.
I think I've been on topic for the most part. I don't know. Cool. I'm a rambling man. How does that song go? I'm a rambling man, made a lot of stops all over the world. That's traveling man, not rambling man. But yeah, why do I live in LA? Culture, opportunity.
I'm just seeing how long you could go for.
Culture, opportunity.
No, really, why do you live in LA?
I moved here because my dad told me to move out, and this was 2 hours away. I didn't even mean to.
What do you mean you didn't mean to?
He was like, you got to move out. I was living at home, and I was like, okay.
After college?
Yeah, I lived at home for like a month or two. Got a really bad UTI that turned into a kidney infection from sex with a very dirty man.
Okay.
And he was like, you got to move out. And I was like, okay. And
the dirty man said that?
No, my dad. So I shrugged my shoulders and I packed up my car and I got a job in LA and I moved there a week later.
Your dad was like, you got a dirty pussy. You got to move out of here.
He never said that. But then once I moved to LA, he was like, I didn't mean to LA. I meant like somewhere in San Diego. And I was like, it's too late. It was only 2 hours away. Okay, is everyone ready for the dumbest story of all time? Are you ready? So when I drove to LA with all my stuff in my car, I think it was 2013, Roar by Katy Perry had just come out. I turned it on and I cried listening to it on my drive to LA, 2 hours. And then I got to downtown LA and I really had to pee. So I parked, paid $15 just to pee, and then drove to the apartment I had sublet with this other girl. Yeah, that's my LA story.
It's not that dumb.
Crying to Roar by Katy Perry is pretty dumb.
I still do it today.
That's so embarrassing.
There are a lot of songs I throw on. They know it.
Okay. Well, yeah, to cry to.
You're pissing me off.
Do you want to know what song always makes me cry? No one knows.
See You Again by Carrie Underwood.
I'll see you
Do not do
again.
it. Do not. Stop.
Whoa.
No, I'm serious. Stop. You're going to start crying. She's already starting, guys.
No,
she
I'm not.
cannot.
This is not where
Stop.
it ends.
Stop. Syd.
I will carry
Syd.
you.
We don't want to hear you cry.
I think they do.
Why does that song make you cry?
I just think it's a beautiful song about death and someone you love dying. And I think Carrie Underwood is highly underrated.
Yeah, I do too.
She's the best winner of American Idol. Sorry, Kelly Clarkson.
No, I go Kelly.
I go Carrie. Wow, we are being silly this episode. Oh, I'm on one. Oh, I am on one. Missy, you do not come here. I don't know what is going on with me. Why do I live in LA? The culture, the opportunity, the food. I almost moved to Portland like a year into living here. I applied to cooking school at like their community college. They have a very good community college in Portland with a cooking program, so I almost did that, and then I didn't do it because I'm lazy. So actually, that's why I live here. It was 2 hours away. Pretty chill.
Yeah, I'm really having a hard time with this question. Why do we live in LA?
But where else would we live other than Paris?
I mean, and the East Coast, something like that does make sense logistically to be closer to my family. But
I don't like New Jersey. I'm sorry.
see, I mean, knock on wood, but I am jealous of people who have no connections to their family.
Me too. Me too. You're very lucky. What, you're saying my connection to my family is not that good?
No,
that's not true.
I was saying, you were saying you're very lucky to the people who have no connections to their family.
Yeah.
And they're sitting there being like, are you fucking crazy?
I know.
They have never have anywhere to go on Thanksgiving, but that's not true. I feel like if you're a cool person, you have friends, what's better than having Thanksgiving with your friends? We have to have Thanksgiving with our fucking family every goddamn year.
And it's torture.
It never stops. And I love these people. And of course I want to spend Thanksgiving with them. But there is something nice about being free to go wherever you want. You don't have any of your decisions driven by guilt.
But I don't think you and I are driven so much by guilt with where we live. I mean, I guess you are a little bit with wanting to move back east.
Yeah. But if, I also think part of one reason why you like living in LA is because you are close to your family.
That's what I said. I don't know if I'd say I'm close with them, but I like being close to them.
I think you are close.
I'm
with
close
them.
with yeah. Okay.
We don't have to go there.
I stop talking about it.
But it's like, yeah, imagine if we didn't have, if we could go to Paris.
I know. See,
that's why I won't go.
Family's ruining my life.
And your family.
I'd leave my family to go to Paris. It's you who won't. But you'd be closer to your cousin who lives in Berlin and your other cousins who live in Paris. We're very European people.
I'm not going to Paris.
For now.
Not for now.
He won't go, but
mark my words. We'll never move to Paris.
He says that, but I'm telling you guys, he's wrong. When we're 50 and we're bored out of our minds because we don't have kids, if the planet hasn't exploded, I think he'll move there with me.
Okay, fine. If we're 50, we're bored out of our minds, the planet hasn't exploded, we can move to Paris.
I told you all. I'm a genius. What about 40? Too soon?
Too soon.
Isn't that insane that 40 is too soon?
40 is 8 years away.
45?
50.
I think 45%.
It's a perfect midlife crisis.
No, you're right. Even though technically we're midlife now because people die around like 70, 75.
Not me.
Not me either. We're Jews. I think Jews live shorter.
Yeah, but we
eat like a blue zone person.
Also, I have Holocaust genes.
Yeah, so you really. And my great grandmas lived to like 108. But I do want to talk about the blue zones just because I think it's so funny with what the boring stuff. On the subject of being boring, Noah started talking about blue zones last night. And blue zones are where the people live really long. So they study them. And so I needed to see where these blue zones were. One of them was frickin' Loma Linda. California. 2 hours from here. So I looked up why this is a blue zone. It's because they're 7-day Adventists, all of them, and they follow a biblical diet: grains, fruits, legumes, nuts, veggies, which is basically what I do. So my little body's a blue zone.
Great. I'm going to be on this earth with this woman for the next 300 years.
No, but maybe 100. No, maybe 90. No, 80.
It does seem like a long life is a curse.
I agree. A curse.
Because sometimes, your dad's an older dad and a lot of his friends are dead.
Yeah, or the ones who are alive. One of them has Alzheimer's, the other one has Parkinson's. It's really sad.
And I imagine that weighs on him. Oh, all these friends, all these people I would call and talk to every day. Can't call him. He's dead.
And he texted me the other day, "Are you okay?" And I went, "Yeah, I'm fine. What are you talking about?" And he was like, "You always worry about your kids." He's 81. Take a load off, Dad.
It never quite stops.
Do you think your parents worry about you?
Yeah, so much. I can hear it in their voice. The other day, my mom's worried. They're so worried about the strike.
Get a grip.
They're like, "What? This is crazy that you can't work. How you doing? Do you need money?"
They offered us money?
And then they said, "I mean, we're not going to give you money, but we just want to know if you need any."
Helpful.
Do you need money? We're not giving you any money, but we just want to know if you need it, because if you do need money, you could get one of those things called a job.
I know. I told my dad we were having a hard time because of the strike, and he was like, that's too bad.
Yeah, what's funny is we are eating a lot of beans, which is like a poor person food.
As Stanley Tucci would say, this is poor person food.
But our new bean diet really has nothing to do with our lack of finances.
It actually has nothing to do with it. Absolutely nothing to do with us being hard up because of the strike. It has everything to do with me being a little obsessed with beans. I get obsessive about things, and I'm having a bean obsession, and I'm having a lot of fun cooking them from scratch. It's very fulfilling because, like I said, I'm a boring person. So I like cooking things that take multiple hours to cook. That is my favorite. I used to make beef jerky when I wasn't vegan today, vegan, vegan. See, if you say the word, you talk about being vegan, you have to sing it like that. Anyway, when I wasn't vegan, I'm joking. When I wasn't vegan.
Are you on Adderall right now?
No.
You're on one.
I'm in a really good mood. Uh-oh, battery's gonna die.
Don't say it out loud. I think I'm depleted.
You are? But I didn't talk about the beans.
we're at almost an hour now.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
Okay. Real quick, I'm just having a love.
Okay, let's just
beans.
Well, let's do.
Okay. Oh yeah. What
are we into this week? And make it quick because
make it quick.
The camera's about to die, folks.
I'm having a love affair with beans. I'm loving cooking them from scratch. It takes multiple hours and a lot of creativity. And yeah, I love you, Rancho Gordo. Please sponsor me.
What am I into? I love beans. I love the bean diet that I'm on. My asshole does not.
He's struggling. I'm not.
But what am I into this week? I kind of talked about it. I'm into small town comedy or small town, whatever it is you're doing, to trying to do it in the town you're from. I am not doing that. I am a hypocrite right now by saying this. But if there's anyone out there wondering, should I move to the big city? I think if you got something great there and you can really turn it into something, there's something to be said about that. Don't always be in a rush to go to the next big thing.
Take your time, sweetie pies. Love you. Good night.
Guys, we have a Patreon. We have Instagram, all those things. We have some new Patreon members, and if you're out there, we really appreciate it. This community is growing, and it feels so good, and it's helping us get by, especially right now.
Yeah, we love you.
Thank you, guys. Good night.
Good night.
It's the Bedtime Podcast.